Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Paradigm Paradox, continuing Ayamu's route, and he's being a right old bitch because he doesn't like me hanging out with Replacement Lizzie, so... I continue to talk to Replacement Lizzie even after Ayamu told me to stay away. I still find it the funniest thing ever that she's like, she's not a replacement for Lizzie right after I called her Replacement Lizzie. At first, I suggested hanging out in places where I knew we wouldn't see him, but since he hadn't said anything more, I'd gotten a bit bolder recently. Ooh, girl's got balls. Spacey, sorry to keep you waiting. It's alright, I just got here. Your classes went longer than usual, huh? We had a presentation for school and career options, though since we automatically get into our high school, they only talked about electives. I see. So you're going to go to Cherrywood for high school, too? That's right. I was interested in this school as well, but my older brother said no. Maybe it's because we're co-ed. Cherrywood Academy is an all-girls school, after all. That's concerning already. I had a feeling that was the reason, just based on observing how much Ayamu doted on Rizzy. Maybe a little too much. We'll see. Speaking of which, have you gotten the library remodel figured out? Yes, I've gotten enough reference materials, and I've talked things over with the student council and put forth our opinions to the school. That's great. But is it okay for you still to come see me? I mean, I'm happy about it, but what about your other friends? I imagine Rizzy was popular, but she never mentioned any other friends when we talked. That seems strange to me, so I decided to ask her about it. Rizzy's expression turned gloomy then, because Ayamu doesn't allow you to have friends? I do have friends, but there aren't many people I can speak with so candidly. Everyone's so polite when they talk to me. Oh, so overly polite when they talk to me. It's not that they hate me or anything, but I guess I get the sense they're pushing me away. Have your friends met your brother, perchance? I told you, like, she could be a little derpy sometimes, but she's pretty much on the ball most of it, you know? She's like, have they met your brother? Because I feel like that's the problem. I'd asked because I had a bad feeling about what was going on. Rizzy immediately nodded. Yes, of course. My brother told me to always bring my friends to meet him. Oh, I see. I knew firsthand what kind of things Ayamu would say to Rizzy's other friends. I doubt he'd tell the others to stay away like he did to me. Well, maybe he would. Hold on. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. The music is just extremely loud to me right now, so I need to turn it down just a teeny bit in my ear. Sorry, bird. He probably would tell them not to be a bad influence or not to hang around with her without his permission. If that was the case, then even if they didn't end up resenting her, I'm sure they'd want to distance themselves from her brother. Spacey, I've been imagining what kind of things Ayamu had probably said when Rizzy spoke up. I could sense a reluctance in her voice. To be honest, I haven't told my brother that I'm done with my student council duties here. I thought he'd forbid me from coming if I did. But if I can't come here anymore, then I won't be able to talk to you. We've grown much closer now, so I wouldn't want that. So, could you not say anything about this? About me being done with my work for the student council, as long as you don't tell him that we're still hanging out? I was overjoyed to hear she wanted to keep hanging out, so I readily agreed with her request. I'd be sad if I couldn't see you again, too. I won't say a word to Ayamu. You don't have to worry about that. Trust me, you don't have to worry about that. Unless we're going to talk about, oh, I have a friend. Well, and then we talk about it in front of the Blooms. Now that would be fucking funny. That's great. And I'll make sure there won't be any consequences for you if he finds out. I'll say I was selfish and forced you to go along with what I wanted. Oh, no, you don't have to. I'll fight Ayamu if it ever comes to that. We would too. Fight? What a funny thing to say. Oh, that would be really rude to your brother. I'm sorry. I said that because I already felt antagonistic toward him, but quickly apologized because it wasn't right to say about a friend's family member. I mean, I don't hate the enemies to lover concept that's going on here. Rizzy just smiled and went along with it. No, I get it. My brother can be so stubborn. I'll make sure I'm prepared for a fight, too. I mean, here's the thing. If he's just overprotective, I'm fine with that. If he's, really, oddly obsessed with his sister, creepy. Right now, it could go either way. Rizzy might say that, but little does she know the first round of fighting's already happened. Hearing about her friends made me think of what passed between Ayamu and me, but I didn't tell Rizzy about it. I'd wondered whether I should tell her that he'd ordered me to stay away, but I thought it would hurt her if I did, so I decided to keep quiet about it. When we're talking like this, I can tell that she really loves her brother. And it would definitely make her sad if she found out he was saying all these things to her friends behind her back. Thinking about it made me furious at him all over again. What Ayamu's doing can't be good for Rizzy. But when Rizzy does find out, she'll be hurt. We continued chatting and time flew by. Eventually the school bell rang, making us realize how late it had gotten. And the bell is really fucking loud. Okay, you know what it is? It's my TV. A little bit of music in my ear, but the TV, even though it's on very low, is still too fucking loud. It's like distracting me, which is weird because the music is barely audible. Oh, I better get back. You're right. Is Ayamu coming to pick you up? Yes, I told him he'd be at the library, so I was going to head over there. Another alarm rang out right as Rizzy said that, but it wasn't the school bell this time. Nope, that's a warning bell. That means vectors have appeared. Definitely get to the library. It was the first time they'd shown up during the day since the one fateful attack. I felt my stress increase with every second the alarm blared. We have to stay indoors. Going outside is dangerous. Okay. All students on campus, please seek refuge inside immediately. I repeat, all students still on campus. We heard an announcement urging all students to shelter inside the buildings. I need to go to the command center, but I can't just leave Rizzy here. She wasn't from our school, so I'm sure she'd be even more worried if I left her on her own. As I thought about it, I remembered Ayamu. That's right, Rizzy, let's go to the library. It's pretty large, so it'll be safer than being out in the hallway. Ayamu might already be there. You told him you'd be at the library, right? Oh, you're right. He could be waiting for me. Then let's hurry. Okay. I took Rizzy's hand and we hurried over to the library. We're going to be late. They're going to be, asking us why, and this is going to come up. When we got to the library, we saw a few other students who looked worried, but Ayamu wasn't anywhere to be found. What do I do? There's a chance he's further in looking for Rizzy, but I don't have time to find him. I knew the best thing for me to do would be to go out and fight the Vectors. I couldn't waste any more time here. Maybe my brother's gone further in. I'll go look. Rizzy's suggestion came at a perfect time, so I went along with it. Then I'll go check outside the library just in case. There's a chance he missed you. Huh? But isn't going outside dangerous? Rizzy was clearly worried about me, so I quickly tried to assuage her fears. I won't leave the building. Besides, I'll be right back. You should stay here. Well, I know I'll be worried, so I'll just go with you. I thought you wanted to look for your brother here. Look, even if he hasn't come yet, you have to stay put. I'll be fine. I'll be back in a jiff, so don't worry about me. I attempted to reassure her again. Rizzy agreed, despite looking concerned. I'll be like, okay, you go back there, and I'll stay right here and wait by the door. All right, I'll stay here, but please be careful. I will. Yeah, it's like, how do we ditch the square? I'm just kidding. I better hurry. I dashed off to the command center, thinking there was a good chance I'd be the last one to arrive. Sorry I'm late. When I arrived, I saw Kaori, Sena, Moko, Rio, and the commander. Ooh. Oh, where's Haruka? Looking for her sister. I thought I'd be the last one, but I didn't see Haruka anywhere. She's not here yet, which isn't like her. Haruka was usually the first to arrive for missions, so it was surprising for her to even be later than me. I think I hear footsteps. Maybe it's her. Right as Mocha said that, Haruka burst into the room. Immediately upon entering, Haruka scanned the room as if she were looking for someone. Her eyes stopped when they fell on me. What's wrong? I felt the air grow tense as Haruka approached me in silence. I asked her what was wrong, but it was like she hadn't heard me. Ew! Where were you just now? Who were you with? Girl! You're letting your guard down and making it obvious. Why are you asking? I know I was late too, but... Answer me! She seemed so panicked I thought I should tell her the truth. I was with my friend Rizzy. I brought her to the library and then came here. Haruka was so relieved when I said that she dropped to her knees. The library. I see. Thank goodness. Haruka, are you alright? I crouched down to help her up, but Haruka glared sharply at me. Wait, why is she glaring at me? I had no idea what was going on, but I didn't pull my hand back. Then the commander called out to us. Are you done now? Once you're all ready, you need to get out there. Everyone's evacuated, but the Vectors have entered the residential district. Right, we'll leave immediately. We had no time to waste if the Vectors had already made it to the residential district. I didn't understand what was going on with Haruka, but I just tried to focus on the mission as all of us moved out. There was no people on the street since everyone had already evacuated, but more than a dozen Vectors were prowling around like they owned the place. That'll be too much damage if we fight them here. Let's try and chase them to the outer wall. We'll deal with them there. Got it! Got it! Because when it's like group voice, we give them this one. We followed Kaori's directions and drove the Vectors to the outer wall. There, we worked together to coordinate our attacks. I should take this chance to get them all. Agreed. We can do this. We just needed to join together. Cast Augment on everyone, directly attack with everyone. I think cast Augment on everyone, probably. Yeah, okay. In that case, I'll cast Augment on all of you. We should be able to take them out quickly if your attack power is boosted. Good idea. Let's go with that. Like, Kaori's faces always look like little puppets. Like little animated puppets, but it's adorable and I love it. Mocha's still my favorite, though. Like, I got Kaori's approval and everyone gathered around me. I concentrated and cast Augment on each of them. That should do it! Heck yeah, let's blast them! Mocha took the lead and sprinted toward the enemy while the others followed, taking the offensive together. I've gotten just about all of them. I saw there were only a few Vectors left, so I took a slight breather. Alright, I'll get that one next. But when I took aim and stepped forward, I felt something hit me from the side. Ugh! I've been concentrating on the Vector in front of me, so getting hit unexpectedly from the side made me stumble and lose my balance. A Vector? I quickly tried to regain my composure and looked to see what hit me, but all I saw was Haruka. Did this bitch push me? Haruka? Snap out of it! What's coming from the front? It's not like she bumped into me like something knocked her and she's like, oh my god, sorry. No, she literally shoved me. This bitch shoved me! Holy hell! This romance is definitely going to come out of nowhere at this rate. I looked ahead and saw the Vector I'd been aiming at earlier barreling toward me. Sorry. I apologized to Haruka since she'd warned me, but the whole situation felt off. Yeah, look at her looking all aside suspiciously. I think Haruka's psychokinesis hit me earlier. Does that mean I was accidentally in Haruka's range? But were there any Vectors there? It was all terribly confusing, and I wanted to figure it out, but I realized I should first do something about the Vector heading my way. Ha! I dodged as the Vector swung at me, then moved into close range so I could strike its torso. I boosted my punch with psychokinesis, causing the Vector to stagger. But, like, also, what a fucking... You can be as mad as you want that I fucking ignored you and I'm hanging out with your sister, but don't attack me while we're fighting Vectors, you dumb bitch! What the fuck? You could have gotten me killed! Yeah, this man's insane! Shit! I boosted my punch with psychokinesis, causing the Vector to stagger. That's it! One more strike and it's done for! I moved into attack again before the Vector could right itself, but I was then hit by a sudden impact from behind. What? The impact wasn't that powerful, so I wasn't really hurt, but it did make me pitch forward. Out of the way! Huh? So it was Haruka? Haruka spat out those words as she passed by. I lay on the ground, unable to get up. She easily finished off the Vector I'd been fighting. Hey, Haruka, was I in the way of your attack or something? You could have just told me. I would have moved. I tried to be diplomatic, but Haruka wasn't having any of it. If you need everything explained to you, then you're just incompetent. Excuse me? There were no two ways about it. Haruka attacked me both times on purpose. You done with your targets. The commander just contacted us and said there aren't any Vectors left in the colony, so we can head back. Then let's go. Haruka was about to just go and leave me here, so I tried to call out to her. Haruka, wait! I'd be like, what the fuck, bitch? And everybody turns around, and you're like, you attacked me twice in the middle of battle. I could have died, whore. Like, throw some words. Throw some hands, girl. She's trying to be diplomatic. I'd be smacking a bitch. Not really, but I just want to see it happen to be fun. But she completely ignored me and continued walking. What happened between you and Haruka? Kaori noted that Haruka wasn't acting like she usually did, but I couldn't explain it myself. I don't know what's going on. I have to talk to Haruka about it. I would say something to Kaori, though, because, I would say something. I'd be like, I'm pretty sure she just fucking attacked me twice. The commander and Rio left right after our post-mission meeting ended, and the rest of us started packing up our things to head home. I decided now was the time to ask Haruka about earlier, so I rushed over to talk with her before she could leave. Hey, Haruka! What you did earlier was on purpose, wasn't it? Why would you do that? I blocked Haruka's path and confronted her, a hostile tone entering my voice. That was enough to get her to finally look at me. But I didn't understand her response. I told you to stay away. What do you mean by that? I'd heard those words recently. In fact, I remembered the incident so clearly I couldn't forget. But Ayumu had said them. I stayed silent, unable to figure out why Haruka would say that. She continued. You were with Ritsu Mamiya before the mission, right? Yeah, what about it? How does Haruka know about Rizzy? Is it because I mentioned her earlier? But I called her Rizzy then. Does that mean Haruka knows her? Is we gonna find out that Ayumu is, like, Haruka this early on? Because it usually takes a while. But Ritsu said that I was the only one who called her Rizzy. There was only one other person who would know about her nickname. But when I tried to find a connection between that person and what just happened, it seemed so unbelievable. My thoughts ground to a halt. No way, but... Though I was confused, I remembered how Haruka had said, I told you to stay away, with that icy glare. That expression was too much like his. Could it really be? What's going on? You two get in a fight? Now that you mention it, you weren't speaking to each other during the mission either, were you? Mocha and Sana came over to us when they saw how tense things were. But right when I turned my attention to them, Haruka left the room. Wait! I just had to know if my theory was true. I rushed out after Haruka. Sana, Mocha, sorry, I'll see you later! I chased after Haruka, but I found I couldn't catch up to her. If it's what I suspect, she's hurrying because she's worried about Rizzy. I bolted up the stairs to the prep room while undoing my transformation. I went through the chem lab and into the hallway and finally saw who I was looking for. Ayumu, please wait! He glanced over at me but quickly turned away and continued running down the hall. I had no intention of letting my question go unanswered, so I ran up and grabbed his arm. Please just hold on! He couldn't ignore me now that I had a grip on his arm. Ayumu finally turned to look at me. The one thing he hates is when you touch him and then you're touching him again. I'm going to find Ritsu. I'm in a hurry. He was obviously irritated with me, but I also could hear the worry in his voice. I loosened my grasp to get him to calm down before I continued. Rizzy's in the library. I asked her to wait for me there, and she's not the type to break a promise, right? Naturally. She would never do such a thing, and she wouldn't do anything reckless either. But I won't be relieved until I can see she's safe with my own eyes. I know, but please just give me a few minutes. I have to ask you something. And what would that be? Now you're sweating a little. He was beginning to calm down, so I decided to just go for it and ask what I wanted to know. Are you Haruka? I still had my doubts, but Ayumu nodded at once. That's right. I can't believe we found out this early. So you really are her. I didn't think it possible, but he admitted it so freely. I felt I had to believe him. But how? You're a guy, but you turn into a girl? It's a side effect of my powers. What other reason could there be? Do you think I'm doing it because I want to? Now, if that's all, let go of my arm. Aren't you done yet? Ayumu didn't wait for my answer and attempted to shake my hand off. Let go or don't let go? I feel like we should let go because, Oh, we don't let go. Okay. I feel like we should let go because the man's pissy. Don't let go, and he likes that. Okay. I thought he'd leave if I let him go, so I continued to hold on to his arm. He likes it. I'm not quite done yet. Can I have just a little more of your time? Then you should have said as much from the beginning. Or are you incapable of saying what's on your mind unless you force others to listen? You're one to talk. Do you remember what you did to me? My voice grew louder as I remembered what happened when he was Haruka. My grip tightened on his arm. I could have died, bitch. Fine. I'll listen so you can let go of my arm. I realized I'd grabbed his arm a bit too tightly and immediately let go as he requested. So what is it you wanted to talk about? Ayumu faced me again, and I tried to ask him as calmly as possible about what happened. During the mission, you attacked me on purpose, didn't you? Yes, I did. His brazenness infuriated me even more, and I found I had difficulty staying composed. But if I get emotional, he'll end up getting the better of me. I have to stay calm and object to his behavior. Why did you attack me? I thought we were on the same side. I'd regained my equanimity and managed to speak again, but Ayamu's response handily destroyed any shred of patience I had left. Because you broke your promise. I told you something would happen if you did. Promise? You mean that whole thing about not going near Rizzy? You attacked me during the mission because of that? That's horrible. I was just being friends with your sister, but you attacked your own teammate. You're seriously the worst. No, you're the worst for not keeping your promise. You brought this on yourself. And while you're at it, stop calling us teammates. If you want to pal around with someone, look elsewhere. Pal around? Are we finished? His arrogance seeped through every word he spoke. He turned his back to me and began walking away, and I quickly ran after him. I never agreed to your order in the first place. And only Rizzy and I can choose who our friends are. It's not your place to decide for us. Don't speak for Ritsu. What do you even know about her? I've protected her entire life. I always have and always will. It's my duty. And how does keeping me away protect her? That doesn't make any sense. You're a vulgar person. You'd absolutely be a negative influence. Did you just call me vulgar? I'll show you, vulgar whore. That was the second time he'd said that. Couldn't stop my anger from showing now. Who's the vulgar one here? It's much worse to deliberately attack your own teammate. We'd both gotten so heated we didn't hear footsteps coming toward us. Who's saying Ayamu? Oh, it's Ritsu. Ayamu, what are you doing? Oh, no, it's Tokyo. Okay. I figured it might have been Ritsu. I'm like, who is it? Like, anyway. Ayamu and I froze in place. We then turned to see Tokyo standing next to us. Tokyo, I didn't see you there. I didn't notice him at all. How much did he hear? He'd think something weird was going on if he heard I was attacked, right? My face grew pale, but Ayamu recovered with surprising speed. You have good timing. I was about to go meet Ritsu. It's been a while since you saw her, so would you like to come along? Sure, but you two were fighting, weren't you? It wasn't a fight. She was just nitpicking for no reason. Best to ignore her. Hey! There was no way I could let that slide, and I felt my anger retching up again. Ratcheting up again. I was like, that's not right. Ratcheting up again. Okay. I wasn't nitpicking. I was making a formal complaint. Or do you not know the difference between the two? What? I felt proud as if I'd won the argument, but then Ayamu spoke in the angriest tone I'd ever heard from him. You seem determined to make an enemy of me. So what if I am? Very well, then. Well, isn't this interesting? Tokyo's unexpected chortle seemed to dampen Ayamu's anger. Interesting? I take offense to that. That is interesting. I rarely see you so riled up, Ayamu. Of course I'm riled up. She clearly has no intention of listening to a word I say. She always has some smart retort. It's natural I would respond in kind. I've never dealt with someone so vexatious and exhausting. Vexatious is a sexy word. Ayamu's voice was tinged with bitterness, while Tokyo continued to grin as he turned his attention to me. You know, you're amazing in a way. Oh, you think? I didn't quite know how to respond, so I just made some half-hearted remark. But it was clear that Ayamu had also had the wind knocked out of his sails. The next time he spoke, he seemed calmer. Anyway, I'm going to see Ritsu. You may say she's safe, but I can't be sure until I meet up with her. With that unilateral declaration, he started walking away. Tokyo followed after him, and since I'd promised to meet up with Rizzy, so did I. He's all mad because we're going with him. Ayamu glanced over at me, but he must have truly been tired because he didn't try to stop me. Ritsu! I'm so glad you're all right. Ayamu found Ritsu once he entered the library and rushed over to her. Ayamu! Oh, and Tokyo! You've come too! Tokyo. But Tokyo and Tokyo kind of sound too similar when you say them the same, so whatever. Thank you for finding them, Speezy. I just happened to run into Tokyo along the way. I couldn't tell her what really happened, so I just kept things vague without flat out lying. Well, we did happen to run into Tokyo along the way. You have no idea that he's cowardly, so. Before Ritsu could ask for more details, Ayumu cut into the conversation.
Yes, it was a coincidence. When she came to find me, Tokyo happened to be around as well. She told me you were waiting in the library. I'm glad we didn't miss each other.
Look, and he's being all nice. Yes, Spacey's great. Don't ever hang out with her again.
I peeked into the library at first, but I didn't see you, so I went to look elsewhere. I was worried about you.
Oh, right. He hasn't told her about the blooms. Those were the rules, after all. I was certain he didn't want Rizzy questioning why I was with him any further. Now I also knew why Haruka had been late, too. I bet he really did look for her somewhere else. That's why Haruka was in such a rush.
I thought you'd be in the library the whole time. What about your work for the student council?
Ayumu reprimanded her slightly when he'd said that, and Rizzy just shrugged awkwardly.
I actually wanted to see more of the school, so I asked Spacey to show me around. I'm sorry for going off like that without telling you.
She answered ambiguously. It didn't seem like Rizzy was going to tell her brother everything either. She looked over at me meaningfully, as if trying to make some sort of signal. I think she's trying to tell me to play along, but she probably isn't used to lying. As expected, Rizzy's strange behavior prompted Ayumu to look at me suspiciously.
Oh, really? Is that true?
Huh? Yeah, totally.
Ritsu asked you to show her around, did she?
Ugh, he's not buying it at all. I also wasn't used to lying and wasn't particularly good at it, so I couldn't come up with an explanation when Ayumu suddenly interrogated me. Rizzy may be off the hook, but I get the feeling he's got some choice words for me. I braced myself for one of his biting insults, but for some reason, Ayumu just smiled pleasantly at me.
It seems my sister's actions caused you trouble. Allow me to apologize for her.
Huh? His attitude was so different from when we were fighting earlier that I couldn't help but let out a surprised exclamation.
Spacey really looked out for me. When the alarm went off, she immediately took me to the library.
Rizzy didn't know about our fight from earlier, so she was probably relieved to see Ayumu smile. She was trying to give me a compliment, but I sensed there was some ulterior motive hidden behind Ayumu's sudden smile, so I wasn't happy about it. Chills ran up and down my spine. Yeah, he's faking it in front of his sister.
I see. It seems it's all thanks to you that Ritsu managed to get to safety without injury. Thank you for staying by her side.
It was nothing. I responded with caution, then Ayumu said something strange, the smile still plastered on his face. Like,
we appreciate all the help you've given us, and just know we'll be fine from now on.
From now on?
Didn't you tell me you're going to be very busy moving forward?
I beg your pardon? I never said any such thing. I immediately recognized that he was telling me to stay away from Rizzy again. I started to protest, but Ayumu smiled at me in such a way that stopped me from saying anything. Ugh, I get the feeling he wants me to shut up. It'd probably be bad to argue with him in front of Rizzy, so I couldn't object to what he said. Then Rizzy spoke up, sounding terribly sad.
Is that true? But I thought we'd finally become friends. So we won't be able to meet up anymore? How disappointing.
Rizzy's gonna get hurt at this rate, and it really would be sad if I couldn't see her anymore. I won't be that busy, so I'll just get in touch when I'm free. Well, I took a gamble saying that, and as expected, Ayumu shot daggers at me.
Really?
Really.
Then I'll wait till then. I can meet up whenever I hear from you.
Rizzy sounded so happy that Ayumu couldn't object. Yeah, I'll definitely contact you when I think I'll be able to hang out.
And no need to force yourself.
I'm not forcing anything.
Really?
That's right. Though we managed to keep smiling, our quiet battle had resumed. Rizzy didn't seem to notice anything was amiss, but Tokyo sure did. I'm just wondering, like, they haven't shown him, but you know he's standing off on the side, like, watching this fucking tennis match of words, like, shit.
Things sure are getting interesting.
He mumbled that under his breath, but I can hear you, Tokyo, and this isn't interesting at all. I clenched my fists and swore to myself that I wouldn't back down from this fight. I started an email to Uncle Yashima after I returned to my dorm. I was still fired up from my argument with Ayumu. I didn't want him to worry about me, but after writing the message, it seemed I did nothing but rant and list why I should keep arguing with him. I should write about how I'm not going to give up, or some kind of plan to make things go my way. That would be more constructive. The block of text I'd written on the spur of the moment felt messy, but I thought it would give a better sense of my state of mind, so I sent it. The next morning, I checked my messages and read through the reply Uncle Yashima had sent me. First off, I'm glad you're doing fine. I'm also glad you're mad, though I know it might make you even angrier to hear that. I'm assuming it's the professor. Just the other day, you didn't even have the wherewithal to feel angry, so I'm happy that you seem to have some extra energy now. It's also great that you made a new friend. Of course, I hope things work out with her, but I also think you can get along with your student body president, despite how awful he may seem. There aren't many people whom you can really show your emotions to like that. Come on, there's no way that can be true. I was glad Uncle Yashima enjoyed my update, but I couldn't agree with that last sentence. Ayumu and I will never get along. Not in a million trillion years. Oh, we're gonna be lovers. We're like that. I didn't even want us to be in the same vicinity if I could help it. I resolved to avoid him as much as possible as I headed out to the academy. He's the type of character that's just gonna slam you against a wall and you're gonna be like, I'm so turned on. I'm just saying. Like, he's got to flip into that and stay. Okay, you're obsessed with your sister right now. Okay. But, like, I'm going to need you to, like, get more obsessed with being angry with me and less with your sister. I'm just, like, right now, we're in an okay place. It's all right. Looks like I took a wrong turn. As if life were laughing in the face of my determination, I immediately stumbled upon Ayumu right after our lunch break started. That said, this was the hallway in front of the student council room, so of course there was a higher chance he'd be here. Why didn't I think of that before coming this way? Ayumu, do you have a moment?
Sure. What can I help you with?
At least people are talking to him right now. I'll just slip by and pretend I didn't see him.
I'm off now. All right, I'll see you later.
Tokyo had been hanging out with him, but he left, and Ayumu and the girl started to walk off. And right when they passed by me, I had the very unfortunate luck to hear what they were talking about at that exact moment. So, I made a lunch for you. I'd be really happy if you ate it, but only if you want.
Thank you. I'll gladly take it.
Oh, good. I'm so relieved.
I'm happy you made it for me.
His fucking bag of bullshit. She made him lunch. I have a bad feeling about this. Is he going to throw it away again? I remembered what happened before with the sweets and felt I just had to do something. Girl, this is where you keep your mouth shut. Hey, Ayumu! Huh? He looked bewildered because I was acting like we were friends, but I paid him no mind. You guys should just eat lunch together. Walk away. We need to talk. It's about Rizzy.
Ritsu.
I knew he'd be interested if I brought up Rizzy. Oh, well, then I'll just let you two talk.
Yeah, thanks. I'll see you later.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I apologized to the girl as she walked away, and did so again in my mind for good measure. Then I heard a frosty voice coming from behind me.
You saw me out on purpose. This better be important. If you want to talk, we can do so in the student council room. I don't want to cause a scene here.
Already feeling belligerent, I see. What kind of a scene is he imagining? I don't think we can avoid another argument. I was the one who approached him, but I started to regret that decision as I entered the student council room. Yeah, we should have not said anything, but I mean, it was just a way to get us to spend more time with him.
So what did you want to talk about?
He clearly wanted to get this over with, so I decided to be as direct as possible. What are you going to do with that lunch?
You're very impertinent, aren't you? Do you think we're friends or something?
I've never thought that, but I also don't think you deserve any respect. Oh, snap!
Oh, really? And then I won't hold back either.
I didn't think he'd be holding back at all, but I just tried to move the conversation along without making things worse than they already were. I'll ask you again. What are you going to do with that lunch?
I was thinking of giving it to Tokyo or something. What of it? If you're going to try and grab my arm again, I might have to actually throw you off this time.
I wouldn't do that. I just wanted to ask. Why don't you eat it yourself? It'll hurt that person more if you accept something like that and act all happy about it with no intention of actually eating it. She must have worked so hard to make it, but you were being fake with her and aren't going to really eat it. I feel sorry for her.
And what would you have me do? Let's say she finds out about my little lie and ends up hating me. It's still none of your business. You despise me, don't you? All the more reason for this not to concern you.
Ayumu had a point. What I was doing didn't benefit me in any way. I was just being nosy. I know that, but I just can't ignore it and let it go. We are a goody two-shoes, a little bit too much. I recognized the contradiction, but there wasn't anything I could do about my feelings, so I kept quiet. Ayamu sighed as if he were giving in.
I'm under no obligation to explain myself to you, but I'm going to, but it cause trouble if you keep stalking me like this. I smile at everyone and act the way I do to prevent unnecessary friction with others.
You mean you don't want any trouble?
Correct.
Because he's a salty, abrasive asshole.
I just want my life at school to be peaceful. I can achieve that by pretending to be this great honor student. And for things to stay that way, it's best if no one hates me. Always smiling and being amicable is one way to go about that. Everyone loves a friendly person.
If you don't want people to hate you, then you should actually eat the food they give you. If you don't want people to hate you, maybe don't be so hateful. Or hateable. You know what I mean? I said what was on my mind, but Ayamu shot it down immediately.
That's not possible. I have no intention of eating anything made by someone I don't know very well.
You know, I mean, that's not unfair. You don't know what kind of conditions they cooked in. Like, I made you food, okay. You don't know if their cat was walking all over their counters and now they have, like, cat butt all over their counters and, like, litter in their food. You don't know. For God's sakes, my bird walks all over my counters. Like, and then I cook on it. That doesn't bother me, but, like, it should, actually. That's quite disgusting. We're going to have to clean the counters. Earlier this morning, like, I poured myself a bowl of cereal. I went to do something. Like, and he was, like, so excited about cereal, he flew to the counter. I hadn't put milk in yet. Flew to the counter, and he's eating the cereal right out of my bowl. He's just sitting on the counter, like, what the fuck you think you're doing? And then, like, later on in the day, like, my bowl's sitting there by the sink. There's nothing in it, okay? Rinsed out, whatever's just sitting there. And he just goes over to the counter, and he's walking around, like, there's nothing in the bowl, but he, like, sees the bowl, and he thinks he's getting cereal, and it's like, so he's just walking all over my fucking counters. So it's like, he has dirty bird feet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not where I cook, over on that side of the counter, but it's still like, but you know what I mean? But, like, would it bother me? It should. It really should. He's dirty. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, so you really shouldn't eat anything in my house if you're like, did you clean your counter? Yes, I cleaned the counters. You know what I mean? But, like, I didn't clean the counter after that, but I really should now. Because you just decide, like, you know what I mean? Like, but you don't know. I wouldn't trust anything that came from my house. You know? So he's not really wrong. You don't know what people's cooking conditions are like, so then just tell them you can't take it. Like I said, if they found out, they definitely resent you more. It would certainly disrupt the peaceful life you want, right?
I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I'll simply give up if they find out and hate me.
Despite his claims that he didn't want people to hate him and wanted a peaceful life, it didn't seem like Ayamu cared much about his situation that much. Didn't care about his situation that much. Sorry, I read that wrong. He's probably not doing it for himself. I think I know the real answer. Are you pretending to be like this for Rizzy?
You're much sharper than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I am pretty smart.
Of course that's my sole reason. It's important Ritsu sees me as the ideal brother.
Why?
It doesn't matter if someone hates me. I just have to hide it from Ritsu.
Why? Why does it matter? So she sees you as a human being instead of just like this perfect fucking impersonation of a brother. You know? Like, real people like them and hate them. Like,
as long as she sees me as the perfect brother, there's no issue.
Again, I'm just concerned about why this is so important to him. Because this could, again, just be like, no, I just want her to see, because if I'm the perfect brother, then I'm reliable and whatever, and I can take care of her and protect her better, because you're crazy and, you know, whatever this world we're living in, you just feel this need to protect her because maybe your parents are all dead and stuff. Or, like, I need her to see me as the perfect brother because then she'll fall in love with me. Creepy. I don't know. It could just be like, sweetie, you're a little crazy. It's going to be okay. Or, oh dear, no, that kind of crazy. You know, the kind of crazy I like if I'm the sister, anyway.
I want Ritsu to only see the nice side of things. I want her to have the perfect brother and kind friends. I want her to live without hardship.
I mean, okay, I can't fault that, I guess.
And being perfect will help me protect Ritsu.
I sensed he had another motive beyond simply protecting his sister, but I couldn't imagine what that could be. The other motive is the pervy one, and I don't like that.
That's all there is to say.
Ayamu began to head to the door, so I rushed to stop him. Ooh, I'm so concerned here. Wait, what are you going to do with that lunch?
If you're so worried about it, here, you eat it.
Huh? I'd made a big deal about it earlier, so I couldn't be careless with it now. I had no choice but to accept it. Oh, you gave me a gift of food. You must love me.
Once you're finished, let me know what you thought of it. I like to avoid any trouble, so if you tell me, I can let her know. Although I don't care if you don't want to. Just do whatever you want.
You're being real irresponsible, you know that? I tried to give him back the lunch, but Aimu just exited the room. I guess I have to eat this now. I left the student council room while trying to figure out how I could avoid the girl who'd made the lunch. Of all days to have a mission. Later that night, I rushed over to the command center after being summoned. Found I couldn't stop looking at Haruka during our briefing. Even though I know Ayamu is Haruka, it's difficult to see them as the same person. Haruka, on the other hand, either didn't notice me staring or didn't care. She looked cool as a cucumber the entire time. According to the higher-ups, vectors were spotted near the financial district and the academic district. You'll need to split into 2 teams. Oh dear, we're going to be forced to go with Haruka. And as for assigning those teams, you seem keen to join up with Haruka. You two will be with one team, and the other 3 will make up the other. Huh? Clearly the commander had misunderstood why I had been looking at Haruka. Haruka was clearly annoyed, but she didn't seem to want to go against orders. She immediately left the room after the brief. I have to hurry and catch up. I had zero motivation to carry out a mission alone with Haruka, but it was sort of my fault we'd been paired together, so I followed after her with haste. I inch further. Even if you were if he said that and you weren't looking at Haruka, you were just inching closer like Mocha or anybody else, he'd be like, why don't you go with Haruka? You seem to be avoiding her. I feel like the commander would do that just to be a bit of a dick. I love him, but I still think he'd be a bit of a dick like that. Haruka and I were assigned to the academic district, and we went out near the outer wall. Over here. I see them. We'd spotted the vectors and moved in for an attack. There are too many for just the 2 of us. Attack on your own, support Haruka. I think we should support Haruka. She's got the best powers. Yeah, she's got the best power. Haruka's powers are much more lethal than mine. In that case, Haruka, get over here. I'll cast Augment on you. Alright. Haruka agreed to my suggestion, and I cast Augment on her. Then she rushed toward the vectors, unleashing a torrent of attacks. The battle continued for a while after that. Our teamwork's not as good as usual, probably because we've been fighting a lot. We were stepping in each other's line of fire and hindering one another's movements constantly. You're really dragging me down. Can't you take this seriously? What about you? You're missing all your shots. I'm missing, am I? You mean like this? Hey! Attacking me intentionally is a terrible thing to do. But if that's how you're going to play it, then take that. How dare you! We'd escalated from arguing to attacking each other, though not at full power. We still continue to attack the vectors in between throwing jabs at one another. Yeah, we're going to get ourselves killed. No! Did you just hit me for real? If it was for real, I would have blown your head off. You must be weak if that's all it takes to hurt you. Now see here! Is that a Buki? Because it looks like a Buki. Because it's not? Huh. Because I don't think it's Moravi, but it's somebody, who is it? I think. I don't know. We haven't seen a Buki, why would a Buki be here in normal form? But it also doesn't seem like Moravia. Is that Yukonami? I'm not sure. So someone's, you 2 are actually enemies then. Right as I was about to shoot off a retort to Ayamu, a relaxed voice cut through the tense atmosphere. That sounds more like a Buki then. Oh no, it was Moravia. Oh, that explains it. The way she was leaning, it was her hair that was okay, because I was just it looks like a cape or something, but I can't quite figure it out. Okay. I was like, why would Ibuki show up as himself and not as Moravia? But okay. Who's there? Moravia? At the appearance of such a formidable foe, I readied myself for an attack. However, Moravia seemed unconcerned. Don't mind me. Please continue. I'll just stay here and watch. You're watching? What are you talking about? Haruka also readied herself and moved in to attack, ignoring what Moravia said. Moravia remained calm and dodged the sudden attack easily. Then she jumped on top of a nearby tree. Oh, so you're not enemies. Of course not. Our enemy is you and the vectors. I joined Haruka in attacking, but Maravia was already preparing to retreat. Looks like most of them were defeated. Things aren't looking so hot, so I believe that's my cue to leave. Maravia turned to leave, and I moved to pursue her, but Haruka stopped me.
There are only 2 of us. We can't be reckless.
Right. We should finish off the remaining vectors. We turned our attention back to the other vectors and resumed the mission without attacking each other. Nice work. Looks like you had a tough time on your end as well.
Yes, Maravia got away. Wait, did you say as well?
We had to deal with Hyuga. He also got away.
They both retreated quickly, but we'll have to be more aware of them from now on.
More wary of them from now on, sorry. Quite. We did not see Yukonami this time, but he could have been close by. You're right. We're in an emergency situation. Now isn't the time to be fighting with Haruka during the mission. Looking back, our actions have been completely childish. I should stop fighting with Haruka, or Ayumu, and just talk to him about this. Yeah, well, we're gonna have to be the bigger person, because... The next day after school, I waited outside the student council room for Ayumu. There was a chance other student council members would come along, but I thought it best to wait here if I wanted to catch Ayumu alone. Oh, there he is.
You again.
His irritation was palpable, but because other students were around, he fixed a placid expression on his face. Come in. Ayumu ushered me into the student council room, and I saw that there was no one else inside.
We're gonna have a meeting in here soon. The other members will be arriving, so you better make it quick.
I didn't plan to stick around as long as we could work things out. I immediately withdrew something from my bag. Here.
That's the lunchbox from yesterday.
You remembered. It was delicious.
You took telling me what you thought seriously, so you can be agreeable.
I'm always honest. Anyway, that's what I thought.
All right.
It looked like a smile was playing on Ayumu's lips, so I thought we might be able to talk things out. I washed the lunchbox. Be sure to return it to the girl who gave it to you.
I will. Thank you. She might still be here, so I'll try to give it back now. If I hurry, I'll still make it to the student council meeting.
Was that all? Just about. I still have something else to say.
You can hate me all you want, but don't do this to the other...
Oh, that's me. You can hate me all you want, but don't do this to the other girls. If you didn't want the lunch, it would have been much better for you to just refuse.
I don't need a lecture from you. Why do you care so much anyway?
Ayumu seemed more exasperated than angry. I knew I was prying, but I couldn't stop now, because those girls are giving it to you because they clearly have a crush on you and you have no intention of dating them. Don't string them along. It's because I want us to find a compromise. Ayumu, you're Haruka. I don't want to keep butting heads with you. But I don't understand how you can do such awful things. I don't think we can reach a compromise as long as I don't understand.
I don't need us to compromise. There's no need for you to understand me. If you want to bury the hatchet for the sake of our mission, then stay away from Ritsu. If you do, I'll stop attacking and insulting you.
I can't do that. I want to be friends with Rizzy.
You're so audacious.
Now he looked angry. Ayumu backed me up against the door. Oh my god, pin me to the door and give me a CG of it. Oh god. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Pin me up against a goddamn door with your gloriously long hair. Look, he might be a dick, but like he pinned me against a wall and I'm here for it. Technically, Mihaya kind of also did that when he was like, you know, pushing the book back into the bookshelf. And it's like, I'm into it. I'm just saying.
You're refusing to budge, yet you expect others to acquiesce to your demands. If you're not going to change your mind, then we're done here.
He was definitely being harsh, but I could see he wasn't entirely wrong. I probably should concede something. Fine. If you're going to be so insistent, then I'll try not to go near Rizzy. Just don't make her sad, okay?
Is she sad? What do you mean by that? Do you think I'll listen to you just because you're bringing up Ritsu?
That's not what I meant. Ritsu's your weak spot. Ritsu's your weak spot, but I feel like that's not what I meant. I actually like that there's a save file here because Ritsu's your weak spot should lead to a fucking bad end. It really should. It's true, but it's so the wrong thing to fucking say. Actually, it could be the right thing to say to warn him, but... yeah, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. You said you don't care if others hate you, and you seem to think you could hide that from Rizzy. But it'll come out eventually.
I wouldn't be so careless. That would be a different story if you told her.
I would never do anything that would purposely hurt her. But she pays attention to you, you know. She'd be able to tell if she saw how you interacted with other people. And of course she'd be sad if she found out. She loves you. I came here today for 2 reasons. One was to try and find a compromise with you. The other was to try to get you to be nicer to others for Rizzy's sake. That's all I wanted to say. I'd be like, she will be sad because, like, you're driving away all of her friends and she's lonely. I like Rizzy a lot, you see. I'd said everything I had to say. It was up to Ayamu now. I believed he'd understand as long as he truly cared about Rizzy more than himself. Fine. After a long silence, Ayamu sighed and finally agreed, which gave me some relief.
You may be right. Ritsu's intelligent, so she would eventually notice I'm putting on a facade. I don't know if that would make her sad, but as long as there's a chance it would, I don't plan on letting it happen.
So you'll be nicer to everyone? You'll refuse any gifts you don't want, right?
I'll try.
Great, then I'll hold up my end of the bargain too. I'll stay away from Rizzy. Though I'd already made that promise to myself, it was painful to say it out loud. But I figured this would be worth it if it solved our issues.
Why are you so concerned about Ritsu anyway? You've only just become friends.
He was apparently curious as to why I cared about replacement Lizzie so much. I was all alone when my best friend died. Every single day felt painful, and then I met replacement Lizzie. It made me so happy when she said she wanted to be friends with me. That's why I care about her.
Your best friend.
I see. It looked like Ayamu realized something once I'd explained the situation. I wasn't trying to get any sympathy from him. I only spoke the truth. Anyway, I'm glad you understand. Don't worry, I'll tell Rizzy I can't see her anymore. I headed toward the door before I could second-guess my decision. Then Ayamu tentatively spoke up.
It's fine. You can see Ritsu if you want.
What?
Well, you do have a point. As we've established, Ritsu's smart. She could eventually figure out what's happened between us. I have a feeling it'd be a bad idea to forbid you two from seeing each other right now.
It's like a dad forbidding me from dating his daughter.
If you care about Ritsu that much, I'm sure she feels the same way about you.
I felt like he was showing me some consideration by saying that. But Ritsu's feelings were the most important thing to him. He prioritized her above all else. Ayamu, you really do love Rizzy, huh?
Of course. Without her, I'd have no reason to live.
That's a bit excessive, but sure. Felt like he was saying that more to himself than to me. Why do you say that? The seriousness of his tone worried me, but Ayamu quickly resumed his calm exterior. Like, it's borderline a little weird. But it could also just be like we're getting a little dramatic because, like, he has no other family, and without her, he'd be all alone, and, like, whatever. And, like, okay, you know what I mean? And, like, sometimes your whole family gets killed by the Vectors or in a horrible accident or something, and then you have your sister, and that gives you the reason to keep going on and not quit. Like, look at Mihaya, right? Like, I was gonna pretty much drown myself or whatever because my parents were gone. You know what I mean? Like, he was pretty much in this fucking sorry state too, you know? So Ayamu has a sister, and it's like, then you put this unnecessary, like, weight on having your sister. It's not really a weight. That's not really what I'm saying. But you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's important for me to stay around, protect her, keep her happy, so she doesn't have to feel the sadness that I ever felt because I saw my parents die or whatever, and she was a baby, whatever. You know what I mean? But it's like, then you put that all on her. Not really on her, but you're putting all that faith and all your hopes and everything into this person, so, like, you're more attached to them than you really should be because that was your only way to pull through. And, like, now there's this burden on their existence for, like, she's the only reason I have to live. And it's like, okay, that might have helped you pull through when you were going through something bad, but it's not a sane way to keep thinking long term. You know what I mean? Like, if that's a short-term thought that you have to help pull you through that dark place, but once you step out into the light, then you realize there's other things around you and, like, oh, okay. Loosen up my tight grip on my sister, you know, but he's just clinging harder. You know what I mean? So it's like a little unhealthy either way, but don't know if it's unhealthy in the, you poor thing, you might need therapy. and to find other joys in life, or unhealthy in the, oh, you're going to put your sister in a cage and you want to marry her. Gross. You know what I mean? And again, I wouldn't be so bothered by that if I was the sister, but it's really weird when I'm not. Then it's gross. The seriousness of his tone worried me, but Ayamu quickly resumed his calm exterior.
It's nothing. And now we really are done. Someone could come at any minute.
He said that while opening the door, and then he practically pushed me out of the room. What did he mean? I was all alone in the hallway, but I couldn't bring myself to leave just yet. He looked so grave at the end of our conversation. I'd never seen him with an expression like that before. It made me all the more worried. He probably wouldn't like it if I pried. I managed to strike a compromise with Ayamu, but now I was concerned about him, and I had the feeling I'd end up worrying a whole lot more. I bet you will. We're a few minutes under time, but I think I'm going to stop here. Because it's a little bit late. I recorded a little bit later tonight than I wanted to, because other things went a little over. And I'm kind of fucking hungry. So, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.